Okay, so I thought I'd make this video because there was a couple of people in my community that were kind of asking me about this, and essentially it's to do with ShyLily. Now, if you don't know, obviously ShyLily has been in her fair bit of drama, obviously, whatever side of that you might think she has been on. Again, totally up to you. I don't care at this point, but essentially, yeah, she has been in a lot of kind of controversy, including obviously a lot of people, going after her for different things. And one of them, obviously, that often gets thrown around is like, oh, she's botting her viewers. And this is an accusation that gets thrown around to every streamer that people dislike, right? If someone dislikes them and they have a big viewership, then people automatically assume that they're botting and want to think of the worst intentions. And recently I had someone come in my Discord server, actually, kind of showing me exactly a certain thing from a ShyLily stream, which essentially proved that she was botting, right? And obviously this person, they weren't like trying to be like rude or anything. They were literally just kind of confused about what was going on. And obviously it will be something that maybe a lot of people would use to maybe say that she was botting. But I want to kind of clarify exactly some of the information that has been kind of spread around, and obviously some people will use it. But essentially, it all comes down to this one stream on the 15th of November. As you can see here, 15th of November, it has a very different viewer count to some of the other videos, or other streams, sorry, that she has had. 5k, 6k, she kind of stays around the 5 to 6k mark, 7k sometimes, right? And again, her streams are very, very popular already, but 18.9k is a pretty crazy amount, higher than usual. You'd expect that to be something maybe after she got in some controversy, or maybe she has a new model debut or something like that. Then 18k, might actually be plausible. But this wasn't. This was actually a kind of ad stream where essentially she was doing Blue Protocol with Shoto. Now, I think obviously, this is where, a lot of people, if you guys have been around in this space, you would know exactly what this kind of situation is about if you just hear me mention the fact that she did a Blue Protocol ad sponsor, right? And well, this is where, obviously a lot of people were saying, okay, well, she's 100% botting here. And yes, this is 100% botting or some kind of, artificial viewer increase. Now this, I'm not sure. This could be due to obviously some people joining her from being, probably top of the category. I assume she was top of the category of this. And you can see here as well with Twitch Tracker's new feature, you can see how many users are in the chat. And you can see there is about 5,000 users. So her regular streams, as we know, have around 5,000, viewers around there. And again, this is kind of, coexistent with the kind of Twitch users who are in the chat. These are real people with accounts. And then, as you can see, the viewership goes way above the users later on to around, the 16, 17, 18,000 mark, almost 19,000 mark, which, many people are saying, oh, she's botting. I can't believe she's doing that. This is the end of the world, right? But it's actually a very common thing that actually goes on in the space. Now, you can disagree with it. You can say that this is not a good thing. And I do think this is actually not a good thing. But I don't think, a lot of people can blame ShyLily for this, because this is a Blue Protocol sponsor. What sponsors often do is they bot your kind of streams, they bot your videos, and also it kind of shows how bad the system for Twitch at the moment is going. They had the whole crackdown on bots and things. It clearly isn't working if, this kind of stuff is still going on, right? But again, I do think, obviously, it is something that does happen with streams. Now, obviously, streamers can have preferences with bots. Sometimes they can tell the company, hey, can you not bot me? It's kind of bad. It's a bad look for anybody to be botted, right? And obviously, people will use that as fuel for kind of drama and kind of use it to accuse people of this kind of stuff, when in actual fact, a lot of it isn't actually done by them. It's just the sponsor botting them. And a lot of times, sometimes they do it without even the kind of recognition or the, advice of the actual streamer, right? Sometimes they will not tell them, hey, we're going to bot your stream, and they will just do it. And then they have to deal with the consequences of people being like, hey, why did you have over 18,000 viewers on your stream yesterday? Which obviously can be a little bit of a problem. Now, I don't think ShyLily has addressed it at all. I haven't seen. Maybe there's a clip somewhere on a stream. Obviously, streams are very long, so I'm not going to comb through every 6-hour VOD, right? But at least from what I've seen, there's been no public kind of statement or anything from it, because again, it is usually a very common thing for it. But I do want to kind of know whether she was aware that this was happening, or if this was something the Blue Protocol just did on their own volition, because sometimes that can happen, but also sometimes it can be approved, and sometimes it's not a big deal, right? And this happens not just with streaming, it happens with everything. It happens with YouTube videos. If you guys saw on my main channel, you know, I did a sponsor for a kind of, you know, Asphalt Legends event or whatever. Obviously, that was advertised. That wasn't actually botted. That was used like Google advertising to boost it up a little bit more. And obviously, yes, like the viewership to like ratio was a lot different. Now, I'm okay with YouTube advertising because it's technically paid for and it's like an official like YouTube source, right? Whereas botting sometimes tends to be an outside source which a company uses to bring in to kind of artificially inflate things which isn't legitimate on the platform, right? And obviously that is stuff like Blue Protocol are using, and I'm sure that Blue Protocol have probably, you know, botted a ton of other streamers as well. It's not just ShyLily, and this isn't supposed to be some kind of video like bashing ShyLily for botting, like, oh my god, I can't believe she's done this. No way. No, as I said, this is more supposed to be a kind of like informational video to show you guys that this kind of stuff does happen, right? Because as you can see, you know, as all of the streams, oh, okay, Cloudflare is down at the moment, so it's affecting literally everything. But as you guys saw previously, whenever we looked, oh, here we go, whenever we looked at the kind of videos, or streams, sorry, he's had like 5,000, 6,000 views, and she went back down to 6,000 and 5,000. So it's not like she is, you know, constantly doing it every single stream or anything. This is just for a one-off sponsor stream because the sponsor wants them to be known, wants them to, you know, feature high up on the page. And again, as I said, you can totally have your qualms with that happening, and, you know, you can totally be against streamers botting, you know, or sorry, companies botting streamers. But again, you should take that up with the companies that are doing it rather than the streamer, because as I said, a lot of the time they don't know it's happening. A lot of the time they just do it and then it happens and then they have to deal with the consequences, which obviously, yeah, does suck. And again, it would be nice if we had some clarification from streamers or like from ShyLily or whoever on exactly, you know, if this was agreed upon or if this was just some random, you know, thing that happened, because as I said, sometimes it does happen. Sometimes they do it without permission. Sometimes they say, can we do it? And then you can say yes or no. Again, it is a total mix of depending on what company you work with. I've never worked with Blue Protocol, so I don't know, you know, exactly how they do it or exactly, you know, how they ask or anything like that. But again, it is 100% done by the company and not ShyLily herself, which is just the kind of extra thing that I wanted to clarify with this entire thing, because I have seen some people trying to use it as proof, like against her, of like, oh, hey, you're viewbotting, and it's so obvious. Yes, it is very obvious, but it's not her that's doing it, right? So again, if you want to find any other kind of, you know, screenshots or whatever from other streams, sure, you know, you could definitely take a look at them and see, you know, whether she is doing anything like that. But in this case, for the Blue Protocol one, which a lot of people were bringing up, and obviously some people brought to me in my community, I just kind of wanted to, you know, give you guys a bit of that knowledge, because I know, you know, a lot of you guys don't work with sponsors or anything like that, or you're not content creators and don't really know, you know, a lot behind what goes on behind the scenes and things. But essentially, yeah, like I deal with sponsors, I deal with stuff like this, so I know exactly what goes on. And yeah, sometimes it can, you know, happen, and sometimes it can happen without the knowledge of the streamer. Sometimes it can happen with the knowledge of the streamer, and sometimes, you know, it's just a mix of both, and it kind of gets a little bit fuzzy. But again, I think that, you know, obviously blame the company, not the streamer. Well, obviously, you know, depends if they've accepted it or not. But I just kind of wanted to clear that up, because many people were saying that, you know, it was just a regular stream and it was a normal stream. No, this was for an ad. This is for a sponsor, right? And as you can see, as we said, with the rest of ShyLily's other videos and other streams, right, they go back to normal. They're totally normal. Again, 6.8, 5.3 goes back to normal. There's no kind of botting going on there, at least as far as I know. And again, you know, it's totally normal. As you can see, even the viewers are actually less than the users, right? So it seems like she's actually got more users in the chat than she does viewers half the time, which obviously is very, very, you know, kind of, what do you call it? It's more proof that she's actually getting less viewers than she actually has, which has been a problem on Twitch recently with the whole cracking down on bots thing. So again, just kind of wanted to clear that, because some people were asking me, kind of wanted to make a video on it because I thought it was very interesting, and it's probably very interesting to you guys as well, as people who maybe aren't as involved with this kind of stuff. And yeah, I mean, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code Kazza, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.